What the happened in Super Bowl XXXV? The matchup was between a Giants team led by NPC quarterback Kerry Collins, supported by the breakout dual-threat running back Tiki Barber, and a solid defense against a lopsided Ravens team quarterbacked by another NPC, Trent Dilfer, leading a middling offense that struggled to score during the regular season, and a generational elite defense led by Ray Lewis that only allowed 165 points during the regular season. The Giants got the ball first, and the snap was messy as the Ravens jumped off sides, moving the Giants forward from the 26, where Collins tried fitting a ball into a tight window for Pete Mitchell, but he was tightly covered by two defenders and it fell incomplete. Ford Barber tried following the fullback next, but was cut down for no gain, and on 3rd and 5, Collins lofted up a YOLO ball that flew straight to Kim Herring, who almost picked it off, and they'd be punting away their first possession of the game. Dilfer started off with a dump down to Priest Holmes, who got thrown out of bounds after 4. On 2nd, Dilfer threw for the sideline incomplete, and on 3rd and 6, he was quickly pressured and tossed it out of bounds, and the Ravens would go 3 and out to start the game as well. Collins wound up to throw on 1st down, but was taken down low by Rob Burnett for a sack. On 2nd and 16, they tossed it out to Barber, who didn't find much on the edge, and on 3rd and 14, Collins stepped through the pocket and scrambled forward for a few, but slid down well short of the line to gain, and they'd boot it away again. Starting from midfield, Jamal Lewis tried to carry up the gut, but was swarmed in the backfield before Dilfer would drop back and try dumping it off to him, but missed on 2nd, and on 3rd and long, the Giants came across early, moving the offense up to 3rd and 6, where Dilfer loaded up and uncorked one for his wide-open receiver, Pat Johnson, but it was a hair overthrown and bounced off his fingertips incomplete, and the Ravens would have to punt it from the logo. Pinned in their end zone, the Giants were backed up half a yard by a false start. On the next try, Collins threw it with a man draped on him, and the ball bounced between defenders and eventually fell incomplete, luckily for them. On 2nd, Collins rolled right and hit Hilliard on the sideline, and the receiver worked past the marker before going out for the first down of the game. Joe Montgomery took a carry next, leaping over a defender, picking up 4 before Barber came back in and was stuffed right at the line, unable to push forward. And on 3rd and 6, Collins tried Joe Juravicius on a shallow crosser, but Lewis managed to break it up, and the punt fest continued. On the return, a holding penalty pushed back the huge return by Jermaine Lewis. They were still set up in Giants territory, where Jamal Lewis tried the left side next, only managing to fall forward for 3 before Dilfer hit the back of his drop on 2nd and ripped one over the shoulder of Brandon Stokely, and the receiver was pulled down as he crossed the plane into the end zone, putting up the first points of the game and taking a 7-point lead with Matt Stover's kick going right down the middle. Collins dumped it off to Camella quickly on 1st down, and the back picked up 2 before taking a big hit, spinning down. On 2nd, Barber was rounding the edge but got tripped up before getting anything substantial, and on 3rd down, Collins rolled right again but had to slide down well short of the line to gain. The Giants would surely get it going at some point, right guys? The punt was muffed, and the Ravens dove for it repeatedly before finally recovering it, and their drive would start at the 28, where a false start instantly backed them up to the 23, and Jamal Lewis banged up the middle for a few, setting up 2nd and 13, where he tried it again once again, picking up 2, and on 3rd and 11, Dilfer sat in the pocket before firing an underthrown ball incomplete for Stokely, who had some separation, and they'd have to hold on to their 7-point lead nearing the end of the first quarter. In good field position, Collins started trying a deep bomb to Ike Hilliard on a post, but the ball went right past his fingertips, incomplete on 1st. On 2nd, Collins faked the throw left and went back to Barber in the flat. The back ran right into Ray Lewis, who stonewalled him, only allowing 2, and on 3rd and long, Collins took a shot down the sideline for Amani Toomer, but it was overthrown, missing him by 5 yards, and the Giants would once again boot it back to Dilfer and the Ravens. Dilfer hitched and fired deep on 1st down, but missed a wide-ass open Pat Johnson on a play that should have been a free touchdown as the defender fell in coverage. On 2nd, Lewis cut back towards the inside on a carry where the back bruised forward for 5, and on 3rd, Dilfer missed Johnson wide open again on the sideline past the sticks and had to pick himself up after getting smoked after the failed conversion. Barber took a carry but was stuffed on 1st. With 5 wide, Collins threw behind Hilliard over the middle, and the receiver got crushed with no chance of catching it, and on 3rd and long, Collins tried Hilliard again up the seam this time, but once again they couldn't hook up, and they'd go nowhere despite starting in good field position. Lewis took a carry and was spun around at the line, only picking up 1 on 1st before Dilfer threw underneath to his tight end, Ben Coates, setting up 3rd and 6, where Dilfer found Johnson again on a stick, and he dove upfield past the marker for a 1st. Lewis bruised up the middle for 3 on 1st. Dilfer rolled right on 2nd, but had to get rid of it, leaving them on 3rd and 7, where the blitz forced Dilfer to step into a sack, and another crappy punt would start the Giants off at their own 40, where surely they would do something this time, right? Collins rolled right before going out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, but a holding penalty on the Ravens gave them the 1st down and 5 yards. Collins tossed up a YOLO ball that hit the grass 40 yards downfield, but another penalty on the Ravens moved them up to midfield, where Barber took the pitch, handed to Hilliard, who tossed it back to Collins, who uncorked it to Ron Dixon deep down the field, but the Ravens didn't fall for it and had him doubled, breaking up the pass. On 2nd down, Collins didn't see the lurking Ray Lewis, who tipped the pass in the air, and Jamie Sharper came down for the Ravens, and he'd be pulled down near midfield, stealing his team another possession. The Ravens started with a screen for Jamal Lewis, but Dilfer threw it off his back foot, and Jesse Armstead caught it in stride, taking it the other way for a would-be score, but a holding call on the Giants would neutralize this score, giving the Ravens a first down. Jamal Lewis found some room cutting to the outside next, delivering some punishment and getting to the line to gain before going down. They tried him up the gut again, but he only fell forward for one before Dilfer dropped back next, but stepped into the rush, getting buried for a sack, and on 3rd and 14, Dilfer threw a low ball underneath for Unk, who couldn't haul it in, and they'd kick it away from the logo. Collins lofted one to Toomer in the flat on first down to get them half of what they needed, before rocketing one over the middle to him, and the receiver jumped and hauled it in well past the line to gain for a first down, falling backwards. Montgomery took a carry next, getting stuffed for no gain, before Collins slung over the middle for Howard Cross to set up 3rd and manageable, where the Ravens jumped across, giving the Giants another first down at the 45. Collins rolled right again before throwing incomplete on the sideline, before completing one to Hilliard over the middle on a deep spot route for another first down. His next throw was tipped at the line and luckily fell incomplete over the middle, but on second, Keith Washington came free off a stunt to the edge, wrapping up Collins and spinning him down for a sack, leaving them on 3rd and 18, where Barber took a drop the gut, but Lewis brought him down well short of what they needed, and their best drive yet also ended with a punt. Dilfer threw high for Stokely in the flat, but the receiver was able to haul it in with plenty of space to pick up 7 before Lewis spun down and got in the gap for a minimal gain, and on 3rd and 2, Dilfer lofted one over the shoulder of Quadri Ismail in stride, and he was barely shoestring tackled after a massive gain to get them into Giants territory. Lewis took another short carry, setting up 2nd and 9, where Dilfer missed his guy big time over the middle, making it a dangerous throw, and on 3rd down, Dilfer checked it down to Jamal Lewis, and the back barely caught it low, but worked forward enough to get them into field goal range before a minor crash out erupted and was broken up, and Matt Stover booted in the 47-yarder to put Baltimore up 10 inside the 2-minute warning. On the kick return, Dixon looked dead to rights, but the defender giga face masked him, so the Giants would start near their own 30. Collins stuck it right on Dixon past the marker on first down, sitting in the hole of the zone, and he worked forward for a few more before Barber got loose on an inside run where he broke some arm tackles and got inside the 30-yard line before getting tossed out of bounds. Collins then proceeded to pump fake and force the ball into double coverage, where Chris McAllister easily snagged it and fell forward to the 5-yard line. Lewis took the handoff next, making the cut to the outside as flags flew, but the back rounded the edge, getting loose and past the 20 before getting thrown down. Lewis pounded it up the middle again, falling forward for 2, and the Ravens seemed content to take it to half with their 2-score lead as the clock expired. Lewis's rush on first down wasn't fruitful, but another offsides on the defensive line advanced them 5 yards before Brandon Stokely made a diving catch on the slant, hauling the ball well past the line for a first down before getting slung down. Lewis pounded the rock again, picking up a tough 2 yards, and on second, Dilfer checked it to him and he had some room to work with, advancing for 4, and on 3rd and 4, Dilfer got sandwiched in the backfield by Strahan and Griffith, and they'd start the half punting it away. Barber took the first carry of the drive, falling forward for a few, before Dilfer was shown leaving the field with a left hand injury, going back to the locker room with his return questionable. On 2nd down, everyone was covered downfield and Collins pulled it down and slid a few yards shy of the marker, and on 3rd and 3, Collins rocketed one to Hilliard over the middle again, and the receiver once again took a huge pop well past the sticks. Collins tried forcing it to him again on the next play, and Kim Herring was lurking right in front of Hilliard for the pick, giving the ball to Baltimore at the 40 of the Giants. Tony Banks came in for the absent Dilfer and handed it to Lewis, who pressed through a crease for a good gain of 5 before he'd take it up the gut again, this time falling right at the marker for a first down pickup. Lewis took it again, slipped through a blitzing defender's tackle before trying the edge, but getting stood up after only 1, setting up 2nd and 9, where Banks tried tossing it out to the flat, but his throw was tipped incomplete, and on 3rd and long, Priest Holmes weaved up the middle, breaking a tackle, falling forwards 2 yards shy of the line again. Stover's kick attempt was shanked wide left. The Giants wouldn't pay for their turnover this time. Collins surveyed before dumping it off to Barber, who was tackled almost immediately. On second, Collins fired up the seam for Hilliard. It looked like he caught it, but he got instantly blasted, and the ball came loose, incomplete, leaving them on 3rd and 9, where Collins checked it to Barber, who made a man miss, but was caught from both sides, going down short of the line. They'd have to punt it back to the Ravens again. Dilfer came back into the game and tried sharp up the seam, but Unk couldn't haul it in, and they'd have to try again. On second, Dilfer went deep down the sideline, but it was way overthrown, and on third, he tried launching over the middle, but the pressure was in his face and it fell incomplete again, and the next punt set the record for most punts in a Super Bowl. Yikes. Collins took a quick drop and just threw a predetermined ball to the flat, where it was jumped by Dwayne Starks, who took it all the way back with no chance in hell of being stopped, and Stover's extra point made it a 17-point game late in the third quarter. Dixon caught the kickoff and gathered ahead of steam before working his way past the first wave of defenders, then past Stover, then into a wide open field where he took it all the way for the Giants' first touchdown and score of the game. Surely this would give the team the spark they needed to start the comeback, right? Now Luiso hit the kick, and suddenly it was back to a 2-score game, and Baltimore set up to return the kick. Jermaine Lewis caught it at the 15 and worked his way to the right side, where he faked inside and back out, breaking some ankles and tiptoeing his way down the sideline past the bulk of the defenders, and just like that, back-to-back kick return touchdowns, and the lead moved back to 17 for the Ravens. The next return by Dixon was nothing crazy and set the Giants up at the 25, where Barber got wrapped up in the backfield almost instantly, losing one. Collins tried another dangerous throw up the seam. The lurking Ray Lewis almost came down with it, and on 3rd and 11, Collins tried checking it to Barber with a guy bearing down on him, missing, and the record would be broken further as they punted it away again. Lewis couldn't find much on 1st down, only falling forward for 1 before Dilfer threw high over the middle for Coates, who jumped up and got it for the first. Lewis tried finding the edge next, but the Giants met him on the outside, only picking up 2. Dilfer faked it to the back next before tossing it out to Sharp again, this time for his first catch. He'd go down picking up 5. On 3rd down, Jermaine Lewis took the snap from the Wildcat and tried going up the middle, but was tripped up about 2 yards shy of the line to gain, and the Giants would once again be pinned near their own end zone. Collins rolled right and underthrew Barber on 1st down, incomplete. On 2nd, Collins took too long and was stripped from his blind side. The ball rolled forward, but they luckily recovered it, setting up 3rd and 14, where Collins fired with a blitzer in his face and the ball sailed incomplete, and they'd have to boot it out of the very back of their end zone this time, with the ball taking a good bounce for the Ravens, and they'd start in Giant territory. Lewis went nowhere, getting stuffed on 1st down, and on 2nd, Dilfer stuck it on Ben Coates, who tumbled backwards to the 21, where Lewis pounded up the middle once more for 2 yards, setting up 2nd and 8, where Dilfer drew the Giants across, moving them forward to 2nd and 3, where Lewis only managed to fall forward for a yard, and on 3rd and 2, Lewis found an open hole straight down the middle and stumbled down to the 3 before going down. Dilfer tossed it to him outside, and the back was one-on-one with the linebacker on the edge, bulldozing and reaching for the pylon, where he actually lost the ball, but it broke the plane beforehand, and after a challenge, the ruling stood, and halfway through the 4th quarter, the score was 31-7. Dixon caught the bouncing kickoff, working his way around the first man there, working past another, then trying to juke another, but he was caught from behind and coughed up the ball, and the Ravens got it. It was just not their night. Lewis broke 1,000 tackles on the ensuing play, finally going down at the 21, where he took a bunch of big hits again on the next play, still falling forward for 4, and Dilfer lost the snap on 2nd down, diving on it and leaving them at 3rd and 7, where Lewis danced in the backfield to no avail, and they'd be content to widen their already monumentous lead with another Stover kick, making it 34-7 with 5 minutes left in the game. Collins dropped back again and tried Juravicious on the comeback, but it was too low, incomplete. On 2nd, Collins narrowly avoided a sack rolling left, hitting Hilliard in the hands, but he dropped it, and on 3rd and 10, Collins barely got it away to Barber, who tried juking inside with no success, and they'd have to punt it back to Baltimore again. Banks came back in, handing it to Holmes up the gut, and he fell forward for 5 on 1st down. On 2nd, he wasn't able to find much, only getting 2, and on 3rd down, he was swallowed up well behind the line, and they'd boot it back to the Giants inside the 2-minute warning. Barber took a carry on the draw, getting stopped for no gain before Collins dumped it off to him. The back worked around a defender, but was cut down after gaining a few yards, and on 3rd and 6, Collins hit Mitchell past the sticks for a consolation 1st down before trying to check it to Barber underneath again, where it was tipped and almost intercepted. He tossed it out of bounds next, and with 16 seconds left, Collins dumped it off to Barber again, who went out, stopping the clock one more time for the 4th down play, where Barber took it up the gut, failing to pick up the 1st down, but they let the clock wind down as the blowout game was finally over, and the 2000s Ravens defense was cemented as one of the most dominant in NFL history. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Also, I'd really appreciate if you guys could join my Patreon for early access to new videos. I have exclusive game reactions I can't post here on YouTube, like my reaction to this year's Super Bowl. Anyways guys, I'm going back in time and making a what the f happened video for every past Super Bowl. And I have a new tier list video ranking every starting quarterback going into 2025, so go check it out. Peace.